full of the impossible. The remaining Xeran forces were cornered at the edge of the asteroid belt. Their armada, once a seemingly endless tide of destruction, was now reduced to scattered fragments, burning ships, and panicked pilots. Pride had turned to desperation, and desperation had made them reckless. The humans, however, were calm, precise, and unyielding. This was the moment Elena had been waiting for. Aboard the Horizon, Elena's hands moved with speed and certainty, guiding the fastest human ship through a storm of debris and enemy fire. Her crew was exhausted, faces pale from fatigue, yet their eyes burned with determination. Every ship, every human fighter moved as one, a symphony of courage, intelligence, and defiance. "Today," Elena said, voice steady over the comms, "we finish this. For Earth, for humanity, for everyone who believed we could survive." The Xerans scrambled to form a last defensive line. Their flagship, the largest remaining vessel, hovered above the asteroid belt like a black god of war, firing relentlessly. Smaller cruisers tried to flank the humans, but the Aegis protocol had anticipated every move. Satellites pulsed with energy, pulling ships into gravitational traps, redirecting enemy fire and striking with a precision that left the Xerans reeling. Elena pressed forward. The Horizon streaked past exploding drones and spinning wreckage. Her crew fired volleys of missiles, beams, and electromagnetic pulses. Each strike tore through enemy hulls, sending fragments of alien metal spinning into space. The Xerans were powerful, yes, but humans were unpredictable. Every human maneuver was calculated, adaptive, and devastatingly effective. The flagship, the center of Xeran command, remained the prize. Elena knew that one decisive blow could end the war. She guided the Horizon closer, weaving through a gauntlet of fire and debris. Her fingers danced over the controls, eyes locked on the enemy vessel. Her heart pounded, but fear was replaced with a fierce clarity. Humanity had fought against impossible odds to reach this point, and failure was not an option. The Aegis pulse, amplified by orbital stations and Earth's energy network, was ready. Elena initiated the sequence. A wave of concentrated energy shot forward, striking the flagship's hull. Explosions tore through the massive ship, setting off chain reactions that engulfed nearby vessels. The remaining Xeran ships flailed in chaos, caught in the wake of human ingenuity. Every strike the humans had planned, every trap they had laid, now came to fruition. Space itself seemed to roar as the Xeran armada crumbled. Shattered ships spun helplessly, fire trails painting the void red and gold. The Horizon, nimble and fast, darted between explosions, leading coordinated strikes that destroyed remaining cruisers. The humans had become hunters, the Xerans the hunted. And then the final moment. The Xeran flagship, the last symbol of their power, was drawn into a rift created by human technology. Its immense hull cracked, twisted, and finally imploded, leaving nothing but fragments and fire. The remaining alien ships surrendered or fled, their fleet completely destroyed. The war that had threatened Earth for decades, if not centuries, was over. Elena exhaled, the weight of the battle pressing on her. Around her, the crew of the Horizon cheered, tears streaking faces smeared with soot and sweat. Humanity had done the impossible. They had not only defended their world, they had annihilated an entire armada, a force the galaxy had feared. On Earth, people poured into streets. Fires burned from battle, but celebrations erupted even amidst the chaos. Children, parents, soldiers, scientists, all shared in the victory. Humanity had proven to the universe that it was not weak, not fragile, and not to be underestimated. They had endured, adapted, and conquered in ways no one could have imagined. Elena looked at the stars, now quiet and empty after the storm of war. She felt a mixture of exhaustion, relief, and pride. Humans had faced annihilation and emerged victorious. The Xerans, who thought themselves gods of war, would carry the memory of this defeat forever. For the first time in days, Elena allowed herself to feel it. Hope. The stars were still vast, the galaxy still unknown, but Earth had survived. Humanity had survived. And in the hearts of every human, one truth burned brighter than any weapon, brighter than any star. They would never bow, never surrender, and never be broken. The battle was over. Space, once ablaze with fire and chaos, had fallen into a silence, so profound it almost hurt to breathe. The Xeran Armada, the fleet that had come to conquer Earth, was gone, destroyed, reduced to drifting fragments and scorched memories. Humanity had survived the impossible, and the universe had seen it. Captain Elena Reyes sat on the bridge of the horizon, staring at the endless stars. Her hands were still trembling, not from fear, but from the enormity of what they had achieved. Around her, the crew worked in quiet reverence, repairing systems and checking supplies. Their exhaustion was deep, but their hearts were lighter than they had been in weeks. They had done the unthinkable. They had faced annihilation, and won. Across Earth, celebrations erupted. People poured into streets, hugging, crying, and laughing. Flags waved, sirens sounded, and for the first time in generations, the planet rejoiced not for survival alone, but for victory. Humanity had not only defended their home, they had rewritten the rules of the galaxy. Stories spread instantly. How humans had destroyed an entire armada. How a species seen as small and fragile had fought with intelligence, courage, and unbreakable spirit. Elena's voice echoed over global communications, steady and proud. They wanted Earth, she said. But they learned something they could never understand. Humans are not just survivors. We are thinkers, we are fighters, and we will never bow. We fight for each other, for our homes, and for the stars. This is our world, and we will protect it, always. The Xerans would never forget. Across the galaxy, the survivors of their once mighty fleet carried the story of humans who could destroy ships larger than cities, who could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast the greatest conquerors they had ever faced. To them, humanity became something almost mythical, a race that defied expectation, a species small in size but colossal in spirit. But for Earth, the victory was more than legend. It was personal. Families reunited after hiding in shelters. Soldiers returned from the skies to embrace loved ones. Children watched the night sky, stars no longer a symbol of fear but of hope, a reminder that courage could light even the darkest void. Humanity had been tested, and it had emerged stronger, wiser, and united. Elena walked among the people on Earth later that day. The streets were still smoky, and buildings bore scars from the battle. But there was laughter, music, and tears of joy. She stopped and looked at the faces around her, young and old, soldiers and civilians, scientists and children. Every one of them had contributed to this moment, and every one of them had survived because of courage, unity, and heart. A small child ran up to her, eyes wide and full of admiration. Did humans really destroy all their ships? The child asked. Elena knelt, smiling softly. Yes, she said, her voice gentle. We did, and that's what humans do. We fight when it matters, we protect each other, and we never give up. The child nodded solemnly, understanding in a way that adults sometimes forgot. Humanity had shown its true strength, not in weapons or technology alone, but in heart, unity, and spirit. The galaxy would remember this day, not just for the destruction of an armada, but for the indomitable courage of humans. As night fell, Elena looked once more at the stars. The war was over, but the universe remained vast and full of unknowns. Yet humanity had learned something essential. No matter how small, fragile, or underestimated, they could stand against anything. They could survive, adapt, and even conquer the impossible. Elena raised her gaze to the heavens and whispered, "We are Earth. We are humanity, and we will never be broken." In that quiet moment, the planet breathed, the people celebrated, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter. Humanity had not only survived the storm, they had become a legend. And in the heart, Of every human, the truth was clear. Earth would never fall and humans would never be forgotten. The galaxy had seen it. Humanity had won, and nothing would ever be the same again. Coursed from windows, clutching their parents' hands, while soldiers and scientists alike felt a surge of pride that burned brighter than fear. Humanity, the underestimated species, had become a force the galaxy could no longer ignore. But the battle was not just about technology. It was about the heart of humanity. While the Orvians sought destruction and domination, humans fought with ingenuity, courage, and a determination born from centuries of survival against impossible odds. Every move was strategic, every action purposeful. Humanity was proving something, far greater than strength. It was proving that cleverness, unity, and resilience could overcome any threat. The Orvian Dominion had expected easy victory, but they were unprepared for humans who refused to yield. The battle in orbit became a lesson. Earth was no longer weak. Ships pulsed with golden energy, forming patterns the aliens could not comprehend. Communication waves carried messages of defiance and hope, and Earth's people realized that this was the moment their world had been waiting for. When the alien fleet finally retreated, humbled and shocked, humanity had achieved more than survival. They had announced themselves to the galaxy, not as prey, not as a weakling, but as a civilization capable of shaping the cosmos itself. The Backwater world had shown that power could come from understanding, courage, and the unyielding will to rise no matter the odds. And in that moment, as the stars shimmered above a planet that had once been ignored, humans felt something they had never known. Pride. Not arrogance, not greed, but the quiet, unstoppable confidence that they had begun their journey to greatness. Earth had awakened, and the galaxy would never forget it. The galaxy had noticed Earth, and the consequences were immediate. Across countless star systems, whispers of humanity's sudden power spread like wildfire. Some species watched with awe, unsure if humans were a threat or an unexpected ally. Others trembled with fear, certain that this small, once-forgotten world could disrupt the delicate balance of power they had long maintained. On Earth, life continued, but nothing felt the same. Streets buzzed with talk of the Orvian encounter, and governments worked tirelessly to prepare for what might come next. Humanity had won a battle it had long been too small to imagine fighting, yet now the weight of the galaxy pressed down on them. The question hung in the air. What would humans do with this power? Within the United Nations of Earth, leaders debated late into the night. Some wanted to use their advantage to secure Earth's place among the stars, to ensure no alien force could threaten them again. Others argued for caution, reminding everyone that aggression could provoke retaliation from civilizations far more powerful than the Orvians. Fear clashed with pride, uncertainty with determination, and every discussion carried the quiet echo of a species discovering its own strength. Dr. Lena Reyes, now celebrated across Earth for her role in the discovery of harmonic energy, addressed the leaders with calm conviction. "We have something the galaxy does not understand," she said. "We have the power to defend ourselves, to protect those who cannot protect themselves. But our strength is not meant for conquest. It is meant for survival and for showing the galaxy that even the overlooked can rise without destroying everything in their path." Her words resonated with scientists, politicians, and ordinary citizens alike. Humanity had survived so many disasters, plagues, wars, famine, and neglect, because they had found hope in the darkest moments. Now, armed with a power that even the greatest empires could not predict, they had a choice: to wield it wisely or recklessly. Meanwhile, alien civilizations began testing the waters. Some sent emissaries offering alliances and resources, hoping to gain Earth's favor before humans became too powerful. Others plotted from the shadows, gathering fleets and weapons to strike first, fearing what a united and intelligent human species could accomplish. The galaxy was awakening to a new reality, one where Earth was no longer a silent observer but a player on the grand stage. Humanity's first real challenge was not in space but in its own heart. Fear of retaliation clashed with the desire to expand. Anger over years of dismissal collided with the moral compass that had guided their survival. Leaders and citizens alike realized that the true battle would not be against aliens alone. It would be against the temptation to use their newfound power for domination. Despite the uncertainty, preparations continued. Earth's fleets, powered by harmonic energy, expanded. Training programs prepared pilots, engineers, and soldiers for conflicts that might come. Laboratories worked day and night, improving technology and refining strategies. Humanity did not seek war, but they would not be defenseless. The planet that had been ignored for so long was awakening, and every human being felt the weight of their shared responsibility. Even ordinary people contributed. Teachers encouraged children to dream bigger. Farmers shared resources to support. Scientists and families whispered tales of courage around evening fires. A sense of unity and purpose filled Earth's cities and countrysides alike. Humans understood that this moment, the rise from obscurity to significance, was theirs to shape. As the stars shone over Earth, Lena looked up from her lab one evening, her eyes reflecting distant suns. "We are no longer the galaxy's forgotten child," she whispered. "We are something new, something unexpected. And now we must decide what kind of future we will build, not just for ourselves, but for the galaxy itself." The spark of discovery had grown into a flame, and the universe, once indifferent to Earth, was beginning to tremble. Humanity had stepped onto the stage of destiny, and the choices they made next would determine whether they became a force for fear or for hope. The galaxy had grown restless. News of Earth's sudden rise spread faster than light across star systems. Some civilizations marveled at humanity's ingenuity, while others trembled in fear. The Galactic Council, a body representing the most powerful and ancient civilizations, convened an emergency session. The question that hung in the chamber was simple but urgent. What should be done about Earth? In the vast council hall, thousands of alien delegates gathered. Their forms were varied and strange, some insect-like, others gaseous, and many that seemed almost unthinkable to human eyes. Their voices, amplified across the chamber, carried both skepticism and apprehension. "A primitive world," one elder hissed. "How can it hold such power?" another questioned. "Are we witnessing a fluke or a threat to us all?" Meanwhile, on Earth, humans prepared for the first time to step onto the galactic stage. The delegation included scientists, leaders, and diplomats, with Dr. Lena Reyes among them. They were nervous, aware that this was not just a meeting, it was a test of humanity's intelligence, courage, and moral compass. When the humans arrived, all eyes turned. For a species long dismissed as insignificant, it was a moment heavy with anticipation. Lena's voice, calm but resolute, echoed through the chamber. "We come from a world once overlooked, a world dismissed as weak," she began. "We are humans. For centuries we survived when others ignored us, endured when others doubted us. And now we have discovered a power that allows us to protect ourselves and others who cannot defend themselves." She paused, letting her words sink in. The room was silent, even for the council. Aliens who had dismissed Earth as a backwater now faced the reality of a species they could not ignore. "We do not seek conquest. We do not wish to dominate. But we will defend our home, and we will act when injustice strikes," Lena continued, her tone steady, passionate, and unyielding. The council debated fiercely after the speech. Some members advocated preemptive strikes, fearing humanity's growing influence. Others argued for observation, suggesting that humans be studied, not attacked. Yet Lena's words lingered in the minds of many. A species that could rise from obscurity, discover a new power, and choose mercy over destruction was not a threat to be crushed. It was a lesson. Even humans felt the weight of responsibility. Back on Earth, citizens watched broadcasts of the session, their hearts filled with pride and fear. They understood that the galaxy was watching, judging not only their strength but their choices. Humanity had won battles, yes, but this was a test of character. Could they use their power wisely, or would they succumb to the temptations of arrogance and dominance? Lena's eyes met those of the council's elder representatives, and she spoke again, softly but firmly. We are no longer a backwater world, but we have learned that true power is not in domination, nor in fear. It is in understanding, in courage, and in protecting those who cannot protect themselves. This is the promise of humanity. A hush fell over the chamber. Even the most cynical delegates felt the weight of truth in her words. Slowly, one by one, voices shifted. Some offered cautious approval, some extended tentative alliances, and a few even expressed admiration. Earth's people had done more than announce themselves. They had inspired the galaxy with a vision of hope. When the session ended, humanity returned home not as subjects of curiosity, but as equals among civilizations. They had survived their first test, proving that a small underestimated species could rise and speak with authority. The galaxy was beginning to see Earth differently, and in that recognition lay both opportunity and responsibility. As the humans looked up at the stars, that night Lena whispered, "We have begun, but our journey is just starting. The Galaxy has seen us. Now it is up to us to show what kind of power humanity truly holds." The calm after the Council's decision was short-lived. Not all civilizations welcomed humanity's rise with respect or admiration. Some saw Earth's growing power as a threat that must be eliminated before it could spread. Rumors of secret fleets, hidden weapons, and shadowed conspiracies reached Earth's leaders, fueling both fear and determination. Humanity knew that survival meant not just preparation, but action. The first attack came without warning. Alien ships from the rogue sector of the Orion cluster descended upon a distant human colony, a world just beginning to flourish under Earth's protection. Reports reached the home planet like fire through dry grass. Cities in flames, civilians in panic, and defenses overwhelmed. Humanity could not wait. They had to act, not only to save lives but to prove that their strength was real. Earth's fleets, powered by harmonic energy, sprang into action. Ships glowed with golden resonance, cutting through the void with speed and precision that left the alien attackers astonished. Humans had prepared for this moment. Every maneuver, every formation, every coordinated strike had been practiced countless times, yet nothing could replace the courage that surged in the hearts of the pilots and commanders as they faced the enemy for the first time. The battle was fierce. Alien lasers streaked through space, but human shields bent and absorbed the energy, protecting not only their ships but their colonies. Explosions lit the void, yet humans pressed forward, striking with ingenuity rather than brute force. Tactics that no alien had predicted, decoy ships, energy pulses that disrupted weapons, rapid strikes turned the tide. For the first time, the galaxy saw what humans were capable of when pushed to the edge. On the bridge of the flagship Aurora, Captain Rylan Hayes watched the chaos unfold. Sweat streaked his face, but his eyes burned with resolve. "We don't fight just to survive," he said, his voice steady. "We fight because we must protect those who cannot protect themselves. This is who we are." His words echoed across the fleet, a reminder that the battle was more than strategy. It was about the heart of humanity. In the midst of the conflict, Dr. Lena Reyes coordinated from the command center, her mind racing as she calculated energy, flows, and harmonics. She directed fleets with precision, ensuring that no ship was lost unnecessarily. "We are stronger together," she said, almost to herself, as waves of golden light rippled through space, countering alien attacks. Humanity's power was not just technology, it was unity, courage, and the will to act with both intelligence and compassion. The turning point came when the alien flagship attempted to strike the colony directly. Humans coordinated an intricate plan, using harmonic resonance to bend energy around the enemy ship, creating a trap that disabled its weapons and forced it to retreat. The rogue fleet, now leaderless and confused, scattered into the darkness of space. Victory was theirs, but it was not pride that filled the humans. It was relief, sorrow for the lives lost, and a deep understanding of the responsibility their power carried. Back on Earth, citizens celebrated cautiously. They had won a battle, but they knew the galaxy was vast, full of dangers and challenges yet to come. Humanity's name now carried weight across star systems, but with that recognition came the responsibility to wield power wisely. They had shown strength, courage, and compassion, and the message was clear. Earth would no longer be overlooked, and humans would protect those who could not defend themselves. As the stars shimmered in the night sky, Lena looked out from the observatory, her eyes reflecting distant suns. "We have survived the first storm," she whispered, "but the galaxy is only beginning to test us. Yet I know this: humanity will rise, and we will prove that even the smallest, once-forgotten world can shine brighter than the mightiest star." And so, Earth's people embraced their destiny, ready to face the challenges ahead with courage, wisdom, and the unshakable belief that they were capable of shaping the galaxy itself. Humanity had fought, survived, and awakened the universe to their true power. The galaxy had changed. Earth was no longer a backwater, no longer a world ignored or dismissed. Humans had survived their first battle, faced the galaxy's judgment, and proven that even the most overlooked species could rise to greatness. Across star systems, stories spread of the small planet that had defied expectations and protected not only itself, but others in need. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but heartfelt. Families hugged tightly in the streets, children stared up at the sky in wonder, and soldiers returned home to the cheers of citizens who finally understood what it meant to be part of something greater. Humanity had won not by conquest but by courage, intelligence, and the choice to act with compassion, even when they could have crushed their enemies. Dr. Lena Reyes stood on the balcony of the Global Observatory, looking out at the stars that had once seemed distant and untouchable. "We were always powerful," she whispered to herself, her voice barely carrying in the wind. "We just didn't know it yet." Around her, colleagues and friends shared her awe, realizing that humanity's journey had only just begun. They had awakened a power not measured in weapons or fleets but in unity, courage, and moral vision. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations reconsidered their perceptions. Some sent emissaries to Earth, not as conquerors, but as students seeking understanding. Others approached with caution, wary of humanity's growing influence but recognizing their integrity. For the first time, the galaxy saw humans not as weak, chaotic, or primitive, but as a species capable of shaping events with wisdom, creativity, and courage. Even old adversaries changed. The Orvian Dominion, once arrogant and dismissive, now approached cautiously, respecting the humans who had bested them not with brute force but with strategy and resilience. Humanity's victory was not just physical, it was moral. The galaxy had been reminded that true power lies not in domination, but in the ability to act justly when the stakes are highest. Back on Earth, leaders addressed the citizens, not with boasts of conquest, but with hope. "We have shown the galaxy what humans can do," the president said, voice firm and proud. "But this is only the beginning. Our responsibility is greater than ever. We must protect, inspire, and lead by example, not by fear. Humanity has awakened, and now it is our duty to ensure that our power is used wisely, for ourselves and for the universe." Across cities, farms, and villages, ordinary humans felt a quiet pride. They were part of a story larger than themselves, a story of survival, courage, and the awakening of a backwater world into a beacon of hope. Children dreamed bigger, inspired by the knowledge that they could one day walk among the stars. Teachers encouraged creativity and exploration. Scientists continued to push the boundaries of understanding. Humanity was no longer passive. They were architects of their own destiny. In the skies above, golden energy pulses, the same harmonic resonance that had powered humanity's rise, shimmered faintly, a reminder of what had been achieved. Ships patrolled the borders, not as weapons of intimidation, but as guardians of peace. Earth had become a symbol. Even the smallest, most underestimated world could change the course of history if its people believed in themselves. As night fell, Lena looked one last time at the endless stars. Her heart swelled with emotion. "We were always meant for this," she whispered. We were always meant to rise. Around her, the people of Earth slept, dreaming of a future they had earned, a future in which humanity would walk among the stars, not as conquerors, but as pioneers, protectors, and symbols of hope. The galaxy had witnessed a transformation. A backwater world had discovered its true power, and in doing so, it reminded all species that strength alone does not define greatness. Courage, unity, and wisdom do. Humanity had risen, and the universe would never forget the small, overlooked planet that became a beacon of light in the vast darkness of space. Earth was no longer forgotten. Humanity had awakened, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same.